Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 339 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly news, culture, and gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, not doing a joke for what this podcast is, like I did last week. Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by Pikachu himself.
Wait, we're not allowed to make jokes?
No, we're not allowed to make jokes.
What?
It has to
No?
we have to be super serious all the time so that people get
Wait, what? But I want to
Jokes are
continue whining about people Skyrim and Hogwarts.
Jokes are banned.
Why would I want... What? Wait, I thought this is what we're here for. Talk about Skyrim and Hogwarts. That sounded dirty when I thought of it there.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Did it take you this long to get that?
I'm going to Skyrim myself. Oh, good God. I hope you enjoyed your Skyrim and your Hogwarts, you assholes. There's the question. There we go. Bye. There we go. How is everybody? I hope everyone's well. I've had an okay week. And I'm guessing maybe Amy has. Not really sure. How's your week been, Amy? Let's get into it.
I don't know why I was
this.
I had a good week. We're doing a thing.
We're doing a thing.
I had a good week. I saw someone on Twitter use the phrase reclaiming my peace, where it was like they just took a weekend off basically. So I was like, I'm gonna both do that but also use that term. So I spent the weekend reclaiming my peace after last week's nightmare. The podcast and everything that preceded it and followed it. So I watched Vox Machina season 2, still awesome. I have to fight the temptation because you could just watch Critical Role to know what happens next. And because I'm like, I want to know what happens next. You could just watch Critical Role, but no, I'm enjoying it in cartoon form. I don't know what happens.
So what they've done on the normal Critical Role is what's going to be episodes of the show.
Yeah, so they just
that's really interesting. That's really smart.
They're adapting their D&D game basically.
Are they the ones voicing it? And
yes, they're the voice actors for it, and they've got people in to help them sort of hone it down into TV. As opposed to because they have each session for them lasts 3 or 4 hours, so you got to try and crunch down a story arc into a season of television, and they've done a really good job because it's really good. But it is them doing the voices for the characters.
Well, that's amazing.
And then after that, when I realized I had nothing to watch, I watched Deep Space Nine.
Who doesn't like watching the best Star Trek out there?
It is the best Star Trek out there. But I did something because I've seen Deep Space Nine before, and we've had this talk before. Yeah. I usually just skip straight to season 4, right?
Yeah.
But I did something different this time, Moody. I started from season 1.
You started at season 7.
I watched the last 10 episodes.
The giant arc of the...
I started right from the beginning, and I'm just not skipping any episodes, which is interesting, because an episode will start, and I'll be like, oh no, Rumpelstiltskin comes out of Chief O'Brien's quarters, and I'm like, oh, this one. But I'm not skipping it. So we watched that, and it's like, oh, that was terrible. What's the next episode? Oh, Cisco gets trapped in a game? Oh, no.
Oh, no. I think that is probably arguably their worst episode ever.
It crashes through the floor of being a bad episode and becomes so bad it's actually kind of funny. It's very entertaining to watch how terrible this episode is. And it's I know Deep Space Nine gets really great. There's some amazing episodes. There's one of the best episodes in the series is in the first season. Yeah. So I'm cool. Yeah. Once I get to that, I know I'm good, right? But it is interesting how Deep Space Nine season 1, right? Apart from the first episode and the last couple of episodes, all of the other episodes you could just take them out and plug them into a different Star Trek. From the time, and it would be exactly the same.
One of the best episodes of season 1, if I remember right, is season 1, is the Kira Kardashian guy one. That's phenomenal.
It's one of the best episodes of the series. It's also
especially with how powerful, and it kind of resonates so much today.
So right. So I was thinking about Deep Space Nine while I was like not watching it, and I was like, some of the episodes of Deep Space Nine are probably more relevant today than they were in the 90s when they came out, and I was like, holy shit. Like, you know, like you watch that episode with the Cardassian, it's called Duet, and it's one of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine. And then the next episode is the one where Wynn turns up, played by Louise Fletcher from
the finale,
Cuckoo's Nest, and it's the thing with the school and the stuff. And I was like, this is a banger as well.
yeah. It's insane. It really is insane how there's some just sweetness in first season, but it does sadly get panned a lot the first season as well.
Sort of understandable.
Understandable. I do agree. I do see it, but and Deep Space Nine is peak Star Trek.
This is no slight on Alexander Siddig, but Dr. Bashir in the first season is genuinely the fucking worst, and I hate him so much.
He is. Yeah. He's so annoying. He only gets better when he starts having his bromance with Miles.
Yeah, because they're not even friends yet. That doesn't start
though for a while. Yeah. They don't like each other. Or Miles doesn't like him at all. The episode where they have to go to Beja and O'Brien. It's funny. It's a funny episode because O'Brien's really funny in it, but it's also a bad episode. But like, yeah, it's like Dr. Bashir's entire personality right now is basically just Dax. Must marry her.
Like, I don't know how to say it. He's fucking awful.
He is, yeah.
But I know he gets better. So it's
all
he
gets a lot better. Yeah, he does get a lot better. I would say for me, I've never had a fixation with Crusher. Like, Crusher for me is still the worst Doctor, so for me, like, Bashir is above her.
Let's see what happens in the next 10 weeks, though.
Yeah, they might fix Crusher in the next 10 weeks with the new Picard season coming out the final. How can you hate
Dr. Crusher? She had sex with a fucking ghost that came out of a candle.
Well,
that's real. If you've never seen Star Trek, that really happened.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have sex with that ghost, so I can't comment on this. If I had sex with that ghost and it was amazing, then maybe I might relate with her.
This Scottish ghost that just comes out of a can. It's like, yeah, let's bone down, let's scare him at Hogwarts.
Imagine filming that episode.
Right, because it's CGI, so she's just in the fucking chair by herself. It's just like, what the fuck's happening? Okay,
it's weird.
Go. It reminds me of a story that Will Wheaton told on a podcast once about filming Star Trek: The Next Generation, because obviously the front is just a hole of the bridge, like where the cameras and the crew and stuff are. And like he was talking about how the very first episode where Wesley walks around the bridge and he's looking around going, oh my god, this is amazing. And like apparently the director of the episode while he was doing that scene was just off camera screaming at him, being like, this is amazing, Captain Picard controls all of this. It's just like, oh wow. That's intense for a scene where the kid is just walking around going,
his face tells us everything. Shut up, you stupid director.
But
either way.
But yeah, no. We should do a spin-off podcast. We should do a Deep Space Nine rewatch podcast.
A Star Trek podcast.
I mean,
I don't think I have that in me.
No, just a Deep Space Nine rewatch podcast.
Well, I have to catch up with you then.
No, I'll start again.
I can start again, Moody. It's all right.
I can start again. For the content, Moody. For the content. Do a 30-minute podcast every week about how awesome Deep Space Nine is. Even when it's bad, it's still awesome.
Even when it's bad, it's still awesome, guys. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Deep Space Nine is great. But you know what's great right now?
Pikachu.
The Last of Us. Holy shit, Amy. Yeah, they haven't spoiled it for you, have they?
I've played
the internet spoiled it?
I know what happens.
Has the internet spoiled it for you, though?
So, very unsurprised. You might be unsurprised to learn that since the reviews of a certain game dropped that shall remain nameless, The Last of Us hasn't really made much of a penetration on my Twitter.
Oh, that's good.
Nothing else has made much of an impression on my Twitter.
That's good. No, that's good to hear. But no, yeah. Obviously, probably what the finale of that episode is, and everything like that. But it's still like the episode itself is still like just phenomenal. Like, yeah, it's so well done.
Well, the thing is like knowing something.
I can't wait to see. Like I say, I cannot wait to see what you think of this.
So. Knowing something that's going to happen, but then like if it's like well done, right? It's still good. Like you know, I've watched tons of TV shows in the past where it's like I've managed to figure out what's the big twist is or what's going to happen next. But if it's good, it's still good, right?
No doubt about it. I agree with that. There's no doubt.
But when it's all out, I'm gonna just binge it because I want to try and like really compartmentalize all of that pain and trauma in as short a time span as possible.
That's fair. That's fair.
We'll do a podcast about it.
Sweet. So I've got something here, Amy, that I forgot was going to get delivered. I thought, you know what? I'll leave it and maybe unbox it on the podcast.
Is it a PSVR 2?
No.
Okay.
It's a Funko Pop, Amy.
Oh. It's been a while since you've unboxed a Funko Pop on a podcast.
I know. Bringing it back. We're bringing it back to 2022 when it was a lot more calmer. Kinda. Maybe. Who knows?
Was it? I don't remember anymore.
I can't remember either, yeah. But
time is the fire in which we burn. It's another Star Trek
time to show off the brand new Funko Pop of Turok McTaw from Avatar.
Oh, Avatar. It took me a minute. I didn't look.
The best film of 2022. Right, Joseph? Where have you been, mate? You've been so silent of late, Joseph. Joseph Medforce, where have you been?
Let's just chill.
$2 billion, Joseph.
Dollars does not equate
Sonic?
quality.
Where's Sonic in 2 in this? It kind of does a little bit.
Not really.
Objectively, it shows that people are interested to go and see the movie many, many times.
That is correct.
But I've got to sniff this thing. Ugh. Amy's just like, I'm not deleting this episode.
Oh, we're gonna have to start again. We just had a really nice talk about Deep Space Nine.
So I've kept this boxed until this episode. I thought, I'll do it here. So I haven't seen this bad boy. Oh my goodness, Amy, he's a sexy fucker. Oh my Gideon, he's a big boy. Turok McTaw, Last Shadow.
That means, yeah, I know exactly
Rider of Last Shadow. Rider of Joseph Medforce's Last Shadow. That went dark.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Maybe take it back a notch. Maybe tone it down.
Joseph, I am joking, Joseph. I love you.
Just sending him a message. I apologize for everything.
What do you mean? What's happening?
For everything we said on the podcast. Once again. I haven't bought anything fun. It's not fair.
You were out today as well.
I know, but I bought I needed a new jacket because my hoodie had when the elbows start getting holes in them.
Yes.
So I had to buy a new hoodie, and then I bought Edge magazine, which is fun, but I haven't read it yet, so I can't say anything about it. The cover looks nice,
cool.
And I bought a SodaStream, but I haven't used it yet.
Okay.
It saves a lot of money, so
that's good.
And you can make cool soda.
That's good.
Yeah.
Time to get on with it, Amy.
I was about to do a second thing where I was like, I might buy a video game this week. Who knows? That'd be wild. I literally, I played the last video game I played was Titanfall 2 because spoiler alert, I'm like 3/4 of the way through a script about it. I've been playing it with Keith. Apart from that though, the last new game I played was Forspoken, and that was 2 weeks ago. I had the
done the rigmarole at the beginning though.
I had the video game beaten out of me over the last couple of weeks. And the joy of video games. Forcibly extracted. But it's fine. It'll come back. I need to figure out how to make the rigmarole part of the beginning of the podcast. Right? Or do you think it works here? If I just go, hey, this podcast is up on YouTube and all the other places.
You gotta keep going, you know that. You've already started this.
Timestamps, coffee.com/wordswithoutgames. Might stream again sometime soon. That was all. The joy of streaming was also beaten out of me forcibly over the last couple of weeks.
Understandably.
Oh, God. Could you imagine? I didn't want to go live. Like, what was funny was, like, the main day I would have been able to go live last week would have been Friday.
Right? Oh God!
So I thought about it. I thought, oh, it's Friday, and then I went,
oh God, it's Friday.
for audio listeners, I just shook my head like, nope, I'm not going live, and you can't make me. So shut up. I'm gonna watch Star Trek anyway. So the main
just like we can't make you not to buy a video game, you can't make Amy go live.
You can't make Amy go live or not watch Star Trek of some kind. I feel like I'm always watching some kind of Star Trek at all points in my life. Like my Paramount Plus, like continue watching
Star Trek
is all different stuff. It's just all different Star Treks. That's all I've ever watched on it. I don't know if I've told you this story before on the podcast or just privately, but we were talking about like different streaming services, like in a group once, and I happened to mention I have Paramount Plus, and someone goes, "Oh, is that good? Is Paramount Plus any good?" And I went, "It doesn't matter. It's got Star Trek on it." Like
Star Trek, baby.
I'm subscribed for Star Trek. The rest of the library could be terrible. I wouldn't be able to tell you about it because I haven't watched it. I've just watched Star Trek, and I will continue just to use Paramount Plus for Star Trek, and nothing else.
We forgot about one thing.
Apart from Prime Video, because that's where Star Trek is happening. What do we forget about?
The Mercedes have released their new cool looking car.
Oh yeah!
And God, she looks sexy.
I don't want to hear it. She
better be fucking fast.
I don't want to fucking hear it because you said this time last year. Ooh, that car looks sexy. And it looked like it had springs underneath it. It was shit. I
remember watching Baku. Oh my God, Lewis Hamilton, bless him. Lewis Hamilton was broken.
Yeah. Must have been like being on the bridge of the Enterprise in the 60s. Oh no, my camera went out of focus. Anyway, the main topic this week.
Come on, Mercedes, you can do it.
This isn't the main topic, but this is what this is where we're going to start to lead into the main topic. Because I want to quickly give out my Forspoken impressions, because I told you a couple of weeks ago, I said I'm probably going to play this, and I did.
Yes, you did.
I played for about 5 or 6 hours.
Everyone's whining about the game made you go, I'm going to play this game.
Yeah.
That's literally true.
Basically. More or less. Kinda, I guess. That's exactly what happened. So I played it. It's a action open world role playing game. So everything else if you picture any one of those types of games, you already know what this game is. You play as Freya. She gets transported to a magical world where she's like the chosen one or something, and she's got to save everybody. And when she gets transported through, she gets this like bracer thing, and it talks to her, and it helps her do magic. You know, the clip that's been going around Twitter. I just moved that with my mind. And it's called Cuff. And he has a British accent. I'm really going in on the details because this is a very unmemorable game that I don't remember a lot of. I'm trying to grapple to the few things that I do remember. Yeah. And that was one of them. It's okay. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, and I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't know why everybody went mental about the dialogue. That's one of the best parts of the game. That's not a high bar to clear. But the back and forth between Frey and Cuff that everybody was whining about, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's exactly what you would find in a Marvel movie in terms of the type of banter.
Yeah.
And the style of the dialogue. And I liked Frey and Cuff together, arguing with each other and bantering with each other. The story, I don't know what the fuck was happening. It's one of those things, really, right? Where, you drop into a new fantasy world and they throw a lot of fucking names and places and shit at you, things that happened in the past. It's a lot to take in. It's even more to take in when it's like this, just very generic, so you're not really paying that much attention to what everybody's telling you. So I wasn't really on board with the story, but like the gameplay was pretty good. Like the gameplay is really interesting because you're not. If you look at Forspoken, you'd think it's like a melee game, like you run around and beat things up, but it's not. You actually just use magic 100% of the time. So you have all sorts of different spells that you can use on the enemies that you fight. And it's a very I don't want to say it's a good system. It's different. And like the combat was fine, I guess. But it wasn't. Again, it didn't really blow me away in any way. Like one of the things you can do in this game is you can find these optional dungeons out in the open world, and they're basically just straight combat arenas. So you go through like 3 different arenas, and then you fight a mini boss. And those were simultaneously the thing that I probably enjoyed doing the most, but also like never like blew me away. Like and maybe that like opens up because I know like part of the game is you have to go and fight these 4. I think there's 4 of them. They're like you have to like kill the 4 evil queens or whatever, and you'll get their powers. So like you get more different power sets as you move through the game. Maybe as it opens up and you have different options, it gets better. But for me, like the combat was just very dull. The story was very dull. The banter between the characters was good. And then the open world was terrible. It was terrible. Like, I know I'm not the biggest open world fan, but I've enjoyed open world games. Like, I played Elden Ring last year, and it was like one of my top games of the year. But to play a Forspoken's open world, it felt like they just cut and pasted like stuff from other open world games and just dropped it in, and it was really unengaging. Like I mentioned the dungeons, right? It's like you can find a place where you can go into a dungeon that takes you to a different set of levels, and then once you're done, you come back out. And then like all the other open world stuff was just like, if you go here, like to get like an extra ability, you get ability points like through like finding monuments.
Yeah.
And all you do is you walk up to the monument and you hit it a couple of times, and it breaks the rocks around it, and then that's it. You're done. Ta-da! You got the level ups. Like,
ta-da!
You get some other thing by jumping in a pool, and then there's a cutscene, and then it's done. And it's just like, at no point are you engaging me here. There was a mini boss on a hill, and I was like, cool, something to actually interact with in this open world. And then it's like, no, you're way too underleveled for this mini boss. Oh, I'm dead. Great. Guess I can't do that. Fantastic. And like, there were other like little things to do in this open world, but again, I don't remember them because they were so fucking boring. Like, I wanted to like this game because I liked the characters, and the combat was okay. So I was like, that can get me through this game. But like, having to go through that open world and like, it just, nah, man, it wasn't very good. Like the open world specifically, and the things that you do in it, and even just like mainlining the main story, and ignoring all of the side stuff. It's like, you've still got to then go from point A to point B. And if you're ignoring everything on the way, there's nothing. You're just jumping up some hills and getting attacked by creatures every little like amount of time, and then that just became frustrating because like, I just want to get to the place to do the thing. Please, show me a cutscene.
Yeah, I understand you.
So those are my Forspoken impressions, thoughts. I don't know why I thought I would like the game, but I didn't hate it. I do want to stress that I didn't hate it. But I thought we could use my impressions of Forspoken to have a bigger conversation about just open worlds in general, because it really was such a big sticking point for me, like how flavorless this open world was. And we've both loved open worlds in the past. But I don't know like what kind of conversation we were going to have. Like I messaged you about it, and I sent you like a bunch of stuff about what we could talk about. Like, why are some open worlds just so full of things, so full of so little interaction? Where it's like I said with the monuments thing, it's like, oh, you go and get it, you skill level up, and you run to the thing, and it takes you like 5 minutes, and you go, bam, bam, and then it's done.
Yeah. I guess it really all ultimately, when it comes to that stuff for Forspoken and everything like that, it seems like it's a game that was just poorly managed and poorly designed when it comes to that type of aspect. When it comes to like just open worlds in general, like it was last year, we talked about open world fatigue and everything, and I think it's basically a mixture of that. I think what hurts, I think open world fatigue only happens is if you have a bad experience when you get to an open world game. Sadly, right now, you've had not a great experience with the Forspoken open world, which was just like, it just seems like it's just bad game design for it. It's going off what you've told me. I have not played this game, so if you want to, listeners, take what I say with a pinch of salt. I'm only going off what I've been told and what I've seen with my own eyes. The game, I think also like just doesn't look fun in general. So if like other things impact the fun on this game or in open world games in general, or in even any game, but in general, but obviously the topics about open worlds.
Sure.
I think that can really hurt. So, like you're saying, like you've complained, you've made note about hitting the rock twice just to get the power and everything. Why could not have been something else? You know, like you have to do a couple of things to maybe unlock it or to be able to smash this thing and everything. It's again just bad design and everything. But because they've done bad design, they've sucked you out of the world and everything, which was already what sounds like pretty barren in the first place. Yeah. So that just makes it even worse for you. So on top of that, when the story is not enjoyable for you, it just sucks the life out of the world in general, what you really want to try and get to know and enjoy. And it's just like, it's just stuff point on point on point on point of just negatives when you've got what sound like the only real one good thing you said about was the banter between the characters, the two main characters. It doesn't leave you with enough. Your what's that weight scale thing?
Scales.
Yeah, well, your scales is like so high of negative and so low with a positive. It's like
it's more just like
it sucks the energy out of the open world in general for you, which is just disappointing.
It's more just like a lot of what would be in between negative and positive, just like a lot of like just meh, and like it just slowly like builds up on one side, and then eventually my end reaction was just to actually go meh, which is cool. If you love the game and stuff, that's fine. Like this is just my personal opinion, but yeah, I don't know, like. Like playing Elden Ring last year, like I've talked about on podcasts and stuff, like it always felt like there was like I was gonna go in a direction and there was gonna be summit, you know what I mean? I was gonna find something. In Forspoken, everything's on the map so you can see it and you just click drop a waypoint to it and then you go to it and then it's like it's nothing really that exciting. Like, you know, I'm not gonna suddenly roll around a corner and there's gonna be something amazing there. At this point, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna just walk around a corner in Forspoken and go, "Oh shit, this is so cool." Like, I feel like that would have happened at least once by now. But like the thing you say about I've thought a lot about open world fatigue. You know, especially since we talked about it last year, because I kind of diagnosed myself with open world fatigue, and I just feel like. When a genre comes out and it's new, right? It's like everything about it is new. So like when open worlds first came out, that's a poor phrase. When game designers started putting open worlds in their games, like
mainstream,
everything was new. So you were like, oh, this is pretty cool. But like, I suppose like you have to kind of either keep making engaging worlds, or you have to keep doing new stuff. To like keep it up, right? Because eventually, like if I've played because the thing I would say about Forspoken's open world is it generally feels like I've played it before. Like I've done all these things before in an open world. Like
there's a basic tick list. I think they hit for open worlds, and if they just stick to that and don't add anything else on top of it to flush out the world even more, then it becomes a little bit stale. Like there's one game, like I'll say this, like Spider-Man, one of my favorite games when it came out. The open world is basic. It's a basic bitch open world. There's no doubt about that. The stuff you go to collect is basic bitch stuff, what you always do in an open world.
The fucking I have nightmares about chasing those fucking birds around.
Oh god, getting to the clouds were a pain in the backside as well.
Yeah.
But what helps that game so much is that not only because it's Spider-Man, everyone relates to Spider-Man for the most part. They love that character, and it's a character a lot of people have grown up with. But then you throw in with the incredible story, the incredible gameplay, the incredible just swinging across doing in that city. The negatives are lower, or the things are lower compared to the high things. There's so much more positives compared to that. So that kind of got a little bit of a pass, I think, when it came to its open world design overall. I still think it's a good open world design. I just think it's not groundbreaking or anything like that.
Like if you weren't Spider-Man swinging through New York City, because the swinging was fun. Like it's one of the only open world games where it's like I've never even used the fucking fast travel until I had to get the trophy for it because I was getting the platinum. I never bothered with it because it's just so much fun to move around in. So like you drop these activities in there, which if I really thought about the open world and what you do in Spider-Man, probably weren't great. But I was doing that thing where I was like, chasing the birds was fucking awful, but I was swinging about like Spider-Man, and it was fun to do. So that's probably why
everyone dreamed about doing that.
Like, if it was just like if it was just like if the character was Frey from Forspoken in that world, and all I could do was run and parkour, which again, it's okay, like the running and the parkouring, but I probably wouldn't have platinum Spider-Man because I probably would have got sick of doing the open world activities to get the trophy.
Especially as the combat wasn't great for Forspoken, like you said.
Yeah,
it didn't click with you and everything. So that does, like I say, it brings down the madness, and it just doesn't work. And that's the shame about it. Like it's just finding that right balance. Like one game, like I'll go to Horizon last year, Horizon 2. Open world's massive, probably a little too big. But I think the thing that the world is vibrant, it's luscious, it's disgustingly amazing. I won't lie. It's like what they've done for that world was amazing, especially with the robotic dinosaurs and everything. It's all interactive and works really, really well. But the thing that pushed me away from that game was the character, and the story. And I was just like, you may have a good open world, but because you haven't got this, you've got a character who's just like making me not want to play her, making me want to climb the top of the mountain and jump off it without grabbing onto my pterodactyl or bird, whatever, to fly away with him.
Don't do that in the VR game.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I saw a video of that on Twitter where I'm just like, I'm never going to play this game. Ever. Even if I get a PSVR 2, it's not happening.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, because, like with Horizon, even I got sick of that game. Like quite early on anyway, and I think I might try and replay it at some point because I loved Zero Dawn, so like maybe it was a me thing. But like when you go around the open world and stuff, like there's things to do, like fighting dinosaurs is fun, like because it's that whole like pulling them apart and pulling their armor plates off, and like I've always really engaged with the combat, and also the things that you're finding. Like there's a lot of open world shit, which is the new term that I've decided for collectibles which don't do anything. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. But you also find like quests and side quests, and like, I remember there was like one where it's like I found a cave and then someone came running out of the cave and they were like, "You got to help me, man." And then I was like, "Oh, fine, I'll help you." And there was a whole like platforming, combat, swimming thing inside of it, and I was like, "That was cool." Like that, I found that. Like an open world needs something to it, right? Like we all got kind of bored of Assassin's Creed open worlds a few years ago, where it's like, hey, I remember there was one really egregious one when I was reviewing games. I think it was Far Cry 4, where I was like, I was doing the open world stuff, and the open world in that game is annoying because like enemies are constantly attacking you all the time, and it's like, I'm just trying to get to the next mission. Leave me alone. Yeah. But even then, that had some funny stuff where I remember I parked my car. I stopped the car to have a look at the map so I could see where I was going. A fucking bear came out of the bush, sideswiped the car, and I was like, "This is awesome that this happened." But I remember, like, I found a mask in a cave, and it didn't do anything. And then I was like, "Oh, it's a collectible. How many more are there? Like 8, 9?" Then there was like fucking 60 of them, and I was like, "Are you having a fucking laugh?"
yeah. That's annoying and just pain in the ass. There's no doubt about that. Like, it's just they feel like, I think a lot of game developers just feel like they have to put tons of stuff in to make you go and do loads of collectibles, and I'm just like, make them worthwhile. The best one for me off the top of my head was probably The Witcher 3. That one, like, you do something and it actually impacts what happens in the world for the most part. There's some that obviously didn't. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a level where you go and get a frying pan, or am I thinking of a different game?
That was in that was in the little tutorial island. Yeah, this woman locked herself in. There's a frying pan. Yeah, that was a quest.
Yeah, but
that was also one of the first quests.
But like, they did it so seamlessly and it was so well. Like, then you just your eyebrows raised, like, fuck, go say, how the fuck did you fuck up Cyberpunk? you just go, how the hell did you do this, you muppets? But either way, Witcher was absolutely amazing. Witcher 3, it's just like one of the best open worlds out there. Is it probably still a little bit too big? Yes. But that's your choice at the same time of how you want to play that game. You can do a couple of side quests and then go pushing through onto the story for hardcore and for a bit and everything. And that's like, see how it's just really depends on how you really want to play it.
Do you think? All right, hear me out here. Do you think maybe what's happened is because, like, the thing, and I don't see this as much now, like nowadays, as I did sort of 5-10 years ago, like where publishers, when they were marketing their open world games, one of the big things that they would market was how big the world was. Like, oh, this world is fucking huge. It's this many kilometers by this many kilometers. Like the thing with Dying Light, where it was like, if you walk from here to here, it'll take you this long. Do you think the problem there is, like, maybe these open worlds have become too big in terms of, like, their actual physical size, and it feels like if you don't want to make an empty world as like a person developing this, that you have to have something, like, in all the different places, right? Like, you have to have something for players to find, and then game development takes time. So, like, it takes time to make meaningful content for an open world. So that's how you end up in a situation like the one I was talking about with Far Cry, where it's like, just put a mask there, like, because there has to be something here for a player to find if they find their way into this cave. Do you think maybe that's part of the problem?
Potentially, there's no doubt about it. I think there would have levels. There have been open worlds where you're just like, oh my god, why is this so big, type of thing. And it's like, it can be really annoying, but it just really depends on what you're looking for. I agree with you, like, they do feel like some parts are just like, we have to have something here so they can do something and whatnot. And that's what it's all about, I guess, when it comes to open world plays, because they know for the most part, this is going to be a game that couldn't be something for the general gaming audience. That is just going to be this one out of the 3 or 4 games that they probably get this year.
That's true.
So they need, if it's a franchise that they like, say, we'll say Assassin's Creed or Far Cry and everything, they need a world as big as possible, packed with a ton of stuff, so they can do all this stuff while also doing whatever they want to play it and whatnot. So it gets overcrowded in that type of aspect. I'll always say, like, worlds, like open worlds, are definitely getting too big for the bridges, basically. Getting way too big, and they really need to, like, start just thinking of just, like, how big do you need the world? How enjoyable can you make it? Because if you look and start from the top and you realize, oh, this thing I need is all the way down the bottom, that direction, and the map is this, and you're there, and you have to go there, and all of this is in the middle, and you're just like, that's 1,000 mountains in between there.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh,
and I haven't
no.
got there yet. And my closest checkpoint is only not even halfway there yet. Well, go fuck yourselves, type of thing. And that's not enjoyable.
Fall Guys?
Yeah, it's just like it's the balance at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, open world games are very much loved by the masses of the gaming by the gaming audience. There's no doubt about that.
I love a good
excuse
open world.
me.
I love an open open world I can really like sink my teeth into and get lost in.
Yeah. Like I really sunk my teeth into like Odyssey. Like that game didn't work for you, but it worked for me. I absolutely adored that game for the world and everything. And obviously being Cassandra was amazing.
I've put that game on my backlog. Just as like a sidebar, like, you know, I've got the backlogs list of all the games I want to stream. It's like I've put that game on my backlog because I'm like, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for being a powerful lesbian in ancient Greece.
I was a slut as Cassandra. I was terrible in that game.
Because I've always had like an interest in ancient Greece.
Yeah.
But since playing Odyssey, I've actually gotten into listening to a podcast like about like ancient Greek myths. So I feel like I really get into the setting, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And also, Cassandra was cool. Like, I'll give you that.
She was cool.
As Odyssey hit at a weird time for me where it was like, I'm really just not feeling any open world games at the moment because I think I'd played a lot in a short space of time.
If I remember rightly, wasn't it like Spider-Man was September, then this was like 2 weeks, if not October afterwards?
The thing about Assassin's Creed Odyssey was I got a review copy.
Yes, you did.
So I wasn't playing it when it came out. I was playing it before. Yeah, it came out in October 2018. And Spider-Man... Insomniac Spider-Man. If I type in Spider-Man release date, what the fuck I'll get. Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man was September 7th. Yeah, so I'd played Spider-Man. Probably Platinum Spider-Man. And then my Odyssey disc came through the post. I probably put that in. And I was like, it was fun to climb on the dick of that big statue at the beginning. That was funny. And then I was like, oh man.
I'm already tired of this game. Oh, no.
I remember getting really
annoyed. You might have
annoyed.
felt different if you didn't play the Spider-Man game because you'd just gone open world to open world. You didn't have that nice appetizer in the middle.
That nice palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser, yeah. That nice little indie game in the middle just to go,
oh yeah, that's
what you needed. Injected into my veins type of thing. But no, yeah, it's just like I think it might have been better for this topic to have someone who really enjoys open world games on, because we could have maybe seen more of a perspective, because we're like at the part of like there's worlds that we don't like, but there's also worlds that we do like, but there's also at the time like what we spoke about last year. For us there's some open world fatigue out there. There's too many open worlds. Like, I don't want to imagine how many bloody open world games there's coming this year. And I'm probably only going to, right now, off the top of my head, I'm probably only going to play one of them, and that's the Spider-Man game, if that comes out this year. Yeah.
Like, I was thinking the same. I was like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for me. But, yeah.
Yeah.
If that comes out this year, like, I'll be all over that shit. I don't think
that's coming out. Yeah.
But not because of, you know, why? Because it's fucking Final Fantasy VII
Final
Rebirth.
Fantasy VII too, yeah.
Fucking
Part 7 too.
Christ
not
alive.
Part 7 too.
Part 2, 7. 7? Part 2?
Yeah. 7 Part 2.
7 Part 2. Part 2, 7.
Yeah.
Tango, Whisker Bravi. Oscar Mike.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like I'll play the Spider-Man open world game. But again, I imagine it'll be like, hey, I'm swinging through New York City, and it's still a lot of fun. But I might tell you, Moody, I've played 2 of these now. So Insomniac's probably going to need to do some stuff to their open world. Otherwise, I'm going to be like,
yeah, because Miles Morales was the same. It was
kind of done this twice now.
Yeah, the thing I think what gets them over, like I said, was like there's so many pros on it because the stories. Both games had good stories, great characters that we really connected with and liked and whatnot, and so much more. But yeah, for open world wise, they need to change it up. Definitely, there's no doubt about that. There's only, yes, I'll probably still be a kid going, sweet,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Try to see how. Did you do the thing where you like tried to go as straight as possible, as fast as possible, as low to the ground, where you're going flip, and you were like fucking yeah.
And I was just like, "Fuck you, motherfuckers!
I'm Spider-Man, baby." There's a crime in progress. Shut up! I'm busy.
I'm busy flipping you all off while taking a selfie.
I'm jumping off of the top of Avengers Tower to take an upside down selfie for my trophies.
Yeah.
No, like,
where's that penis to swing off? Oh, wrong game.
Oh shit, that's Assassin's Creed. No, like, yeah, like I've loved open world games, like, and even loved the open worlds in open world, because I think that's two separate things, right? Loving an open world game, but loving the open world in a game is two different things, right?
Yeah.
Like, you watched me stream Lost Judgment, and you know that I didn't really fuck around with the open world all that much.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of it.
But that was an awesome game by the end of it. Like,
such a fucking good game. And like the stuff you could do in that game is still good. Like, it's just because I played Judgment before it, and then in between those I played Like a Dragon. It was like, yeah, it's a lot of the same stuff, right? It's like the side quests in that game are really fucking good. But like, it's like there's only so many times I can go to the Sega arcade and play Outrun. You know what I mean? Like playing the baseball minigame and the golf minigame. But like, I think part of what comes down to me is like I was raised when I was a PC gamer. I was raised on immersive sims, which all have like hub like levels that are just packed to the brim with things to find and things to do, because that's how immersive sims work. So like, you go to an open world and it's like you go into an immersive sim and like you might think, oh, I wonder if there's anything in here, and then there's something in there, like, and it'll be something like useful, right? Something that will either be cool to find, or an Easter egg, or a hidden story thing, or it's just like something that can help you in the gameplay, like a cool gun or like an upgrade or something. Whereas like, again, go back to the mask thing where it's just like, I wonder what's in this cave, and then there's like, you just walk into a cave and there's a mask, and the mask is whispering, but it doesn't do anything. It's just a mask. Because some open worlds are cool. Elden Ring fucking blew my fucking head off last year. I had things in that game. There were entire fucking hidden areas in that game that I didn't even know existed until I started watching people like do speedruns of the game, and I was like, wait, what the fuck's this? I never saw this.
What's going on?
That I'm not doing another playthrough of the game, because if you might remember, the Xbox ate my save file, so I couldn't even do New Game Plus.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was harsh. But it's fine. It is what it is. Like, the thing is, like, I've spoken about this with one of my friends, Luna Moffings, where it's like Elden, like I'll replay a Bloodborne with a drop of a hat, right? But like with Elden Ring, like I feel like if I was ever gonna like sit down and play it again, like I would have to like build myself up to it, just because it's such a big game, and it's like such a vast game because it's their open world game. It's like I wouldn't like casually just go, oh, maybe I'll replay Elden Ring. This is a lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of Elden Ring in Elden Ring.
Like, I'm telling you, like, I didn't find like entire like areas of Elden Ring, but I still played it for like 70 hours.
Yeah, like it's a topic that we could definitely revisit later on in the year, maybe, to see how things are going and whatnot, because we might have a different perspective, maybe.
Probably.
Or has it got worse because, oh my god, there's been too many open world games. Zelda
Every
sucked.
game is an open
Spider-Man
world.
sucked. And everything.
Oh well, there's the pitchforks. Zelda sucked. No, Moody, you can't say that. It's not allowed.
Come get me, bitches. Come on, you anti-allied fucks. Come on.
You can't say.
Just bring it.
You can't say things like Zelda sucked. But yeah, like these like little discussions that we have on the podcast, you know, there's nothing saying we have one and then that's it. Like, check that. We've done the open world one, check it off the box. If we have something more to talk about, we can always just come back to them.
Yeah.
It's just like the open world aspect of Forspoken was the thing that was weighing on my mind the most when I was like thinking about reviewing the game, and then obviously not reviewing the game because I'm not gonna play any more of it. when I tell you the 2 games that are coming out next week, I'm never going to go back to Forspoken. Like the 2 big games that I want to play next week. But I will talk about those later. Sometimes you just got to shoot the shit on a podcast. I much prefer it to me reading for 10 minutes.
That's fair. That's fair. Speaking of reading, Amy, it's Indie Game of the Week.
It is Indie Game of the Week.
Have you picked out for the fans to wish list?
I have picked out a game called Coven. It was one of 2 Steam Next Fest demos I actually managed to play. You know, when I was like, I hadn't had a chance to play any, I might try. I played 2. One was last week's Indie Game of the Week, Shadows of Doubt. So when I posted the podcast last week, it was attached to a thread. Because obviously last week's podcast was the Hogwarts Legacy podcast. So I wanted to like talk about like some of the thoughts on that whole situation. And then, as you know, when I do Indie Game of the Week, I put it as part of the thread where I say, hey, this week's Indie Game of the Week was such and such by this developer. Go follow them, go wishlist it and stuff. And I put the thing in, and I looked at the thread that I'd just written. And then this tweet was getting added to the bottom of, and I was like, I remembered like the 40-odd minute discussion we had leading up to us saying, hey, go wishlist this game. And I just put, instead of putting this week's Indie Game of the Week as this, go wishlist that, I said, this week's Indie Game of the Week is Shadows of Doubt by this developer. And I can only apologize for it being this week's Indie Game of the Week. It's sandwiched in amongst all this stuff. I'm so sorry. But yeah, this was the other demo that I played, Coven. Coven is a fast-paced retro FPS slasher, which is heavily inspired by classic first-person shooter games such as Blood, Hexen, Unreal, and Time Splitters. In the first episode, you take on the role of a young girl in the 1600s who is wrongly accused of witchcraft and is burned at the stake. She's resurrected by an unknown force and seeks revenge. And I could read the bullet points, but what I could just do instead is tell you about my time with the demo. This game's pretty fun. Like, it's a boomer shooter. There's like people have been taking a call on them where it's like it's like based on like really old shooters where it's like really fast paced.
Seriously?
Really violent boomer shooter. It's really fast paced, it's really violent. Like, you get your health back by like eating people. So like you shoot them to death and then you just munch on their corpses. And based on where you're looking, I think it tells you like what you've just eaten. So it'll be like, you just ate a leg, here's plus 5 HP. You just ate someone's shoulder, here's plus 5 HP. And I'm sure I saw it say, you just ate someone's testicles at one point.
Here's some testes.
But it was a really fun demo, you know, like it was just like you run around with like, you know, you get your shotgun, you get your dual pistols and stuff, and you just woman who was burned at the stake for being a witch claws her way back out of her grave, now imbued with demonic powers, and the whole village is full of men who are just the fucking worst. So you just go and kill them all. And I was like, fair. I'm in for this like this rampage of vengeance. Let's go. Let's fucking kill everybody. And then munch on their testicles. In a violent way.
Some hot dogs tonight.
Just over an open fire. Just
Ooh, gotta get the other side.
Make sure it's cooked all the way through. Nom 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 nom.
A little bit of ketchup and mustard on, and some onions as well.
Do you want some onions with that? So, Coven is launching in early access sometime this year, I believe, and on PC. It's being developed and published by Ishin. If it sounds like your kind of thing, which after that conversation, I don't know why it wouldn't. Go wishlist the game on Steam. It really helps the developers.
Oh, I'm going to have hot dogs after this.
I haven't eaten tea yet tonight, actually.
Amy now knows what she's having for dinner.
I don't have any hot dogs.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, I've got one hot dog I wouldn't mind getting rid of, but I can't eat it.
One day. I meant rid of, but
not eating it.
Yeah.
I kind of need it because actually, I'm not going to just. No.
Yeah.
We're not going to describe what happens in that process on a video game podcast.
Some foldage.
Yeah, inside out. That's all I'm going to say. Moody. Where are we going next? Please get us away from this. Now that I've confirmed the status of that, let's
get away with the testes. It's
please
time to go to Microsoft confirms Game Pass is cannibalizing sales.
Of course, it's about cannibalizing sales. What the fuck? That's not even the next one in the list. For God's sake.
Moody, you had one job.
One job. Get us away from this. Get us away from talking about eating people's fucking testicles. And you chose the story with cannibalize at the title. I love this podcast. Microsoft confirms Game Pass cannibalizes sales. This is from Brendan Sinclair of GamesIndustry.biz. He writes, the UK Wishlist Coven. The UK Competition and Markets Authority's provisional report on the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition.
Keep straight face, Amy. You can do it.
This is Fall Guys all over again.
Oh, not the blue balls. Nothing but the blue balls.
The UK Competition and Market Authority's provisional report on the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition includes an admission from Microsoft that putting games into its Game Pass subscription service cannibalizes sales of those titles. The CMA noted in its report, quote, Microsoft also submitted that its internal analysis shows a redacted percentage decline in base game sales 12 months following their addition on Game Pass, end quote. That confirmation runs counter to claims Xbox head Phil Spencer made in 2018 that Game Pass boosts sales rather than undermines them. What a startling admission. A game that you can get on a subscription service and people aren't buying it? I'm shocked. I buy all my Game Pass games.
Yeah, like this is not a surprise at the end of the day if you think about it.
No.
If you actually look at it, I think I've heard that someone from a developer, an indie developer or AA developer, has like argued against this because it's like helped them with their game. I think with some of their games and whatnot, which is obviously, I think like when it comes to Game Pass, I think it can really help when it comes to indie games and the AA development. Because it gets more eyes out there for a lot of people. But when it comes to like AAA games, yeah, if you got your AAA games, if your Xbox exclusives are going on this, yes, and you're giving this out there, then yes, the people are going to go pick this over go pick Game Pass, put a tenner down just to play your AAA game, Halo, the Forzas, the Fables, whenever that actually comes out, the Perfect Dark, whenever that comes out, and etc. Play it and then put them down and whatnot, and then probably not put the tenner back in, maybe, or something like that. And that's sadly just how it is. It does seem like that's how it is. But I mean, what are your thoughts? I'm curious by your thoughts.
I've got a lot of thoughts on this. Number one, like Xbox admitting this in the CMA report. I mean, Xbox has been doing everything it can to make itself look as shit as possible so that it can get this deal through, right? So, like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt, is what I'm saying.
So you think there's alternative motives to this?
Yeah, the alternative motive is it's the same reason why they'll be like, you know, we did that weird news story last year where it was like Xbox says Sony has better exclusives, which yeah, it's true, and we all know it. But the only reason they're saying it is because they're trying to make themselves look poor next to Sony so that they can get this deal ran through. So it's like,
I didn't think of that. I'm not gonna lie, that didn't cross my mind when I read this and everything.
Well,
so
if you remember, if you remember, I read this report.
I did forget about a lot of. I did, like, even though we talked about the acquisition potential all last week, Like, I did forget about it already, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's still going on. Let me just jog my memory. Oh yeah, they're still trying to buy Activision.
They're still trying to buy Activision Blizzard. Like, my second thought is I can't wait until this is all over, so I never have to read the words UK Competition and Markets Authority ever again. I fucking hate it. But also, like, to jump on something that you were saying, like, it's more nuanced than just, like, I feel like this is more nuanced than just, like, a game sells worse because it's in Game Pass. Like, that will happen. Like I alluded to with my joke at the beginning of the segment. It's like, yeah, of course I didn't buy many of the games that I played in Game Pass. Because I played them in Game Pass, which I pay for. But, like, I think this part of it is visibility, right? Like, you might only hear about a game coming out because it's on the Game Pass. You know, like every 2 and a bit weeks, they post here's what's coming in the first half of the month and the second half of the month. You might see a game that sounds cool, and maybe even you don't have Game Pass, but you might be like, oh, I've just been turned on to this game's existence. And then maybe they buy it at launch further down the line, subscribe to Game Pass to check it out. You know, there's a bunch of different things there. It's like, I wonder how many games that launched with Game Pass or joined Game Pass like sometime after launch would have like benefited from just that visibility of just being mentioned as part of the conversation. Like, how many people are streaming a game on Twitch, for example, that they might not necessarily have otherwise streamed because it's on Game Pass and they have a Game Pass subscription.
Yeah,
like we've talked about it. Like there was last year there was like weeks or months, right, of just where it was like I was playing nothing but Game Pass games because I could just install them and not have to think about it. And then there'll be games like, would the conversation about immortality have been as big if it didn't launch in Game Pass? Because like everybody who was even a bit interested in that game who had Game Pass was playing it, right? Would Hi-Fi Rush's Shadow drop a couple of weeks ago had as big an impact if instead of it dropping it in Game Pass, you had to buy it for like 40 quid or whatever?
Yeah, it's like there's no doubt like what helps them is obviously they are let's just remember, after they fired 10,000 people, they're a $2 trillion company, people. And they can take this hit if they want to and whatnot. And obviously, unless they change their mind, they're happy to take this hit still. So
yeah, I mean, Phil Spencer, we talked about it at one point, saying it was profitable for them, and the sales hit, isn't that what the money that they pay the developers to put their games in a Game Pass is supposed to cover anyway?
Yeah. So pretty much, yeah.
Pikachu's down. Pikachu's down.
It's getting too hot.
It's getting too hot. You lasted an hour, which is better than the N7 helmet.
That's my record.
That's my record. Build yourself up slowly to have Pikachu on for an entire podcast.
Don't tell my partner this, people. No, yeah, it is interesting for it. There's no doubt about that, but. Yeah, but like, it does help. It helps. There's no doubt what you said. Like, immortality wouldn't have had half the eyes open if it wasn't on Game Pass.
Yeah,
if it wasn't on Game Pass, I would have known about it because of you.
Sure, because I was excited about it anyway.
Yeah, but a lot of people probably would not have if it was not on Game Pass. So yeah, there's no doubt. Like this, it does help. Game Pass helps developers like crazy when it comes to this, and it is amazing. But when it comes to like AAA, there's no doubt that it probably does hurt AAA and everything like that. But
yeah, sure. But like I'm right in thinking that most of the AAA games that launch on Game Pass are all Xbox Game Studios games anyway.
Yeah, or games that have already been out for a few years.
Yeah, so they've set themselves up. Like Xbox has set their subscription service up so that the main value of it is: do you want to play Xbox games? Cool, they're all going to be available on Game Pass.
Yeah. You know. No doubt.
And Outriders as well. That was weird. But I'll tell you what, though, we both played it because it came out on Game Pass.
Oh, I was never going to buy that game.
This is what I'm talking about. It's just like we both dipped into Outriders because it was on Game Pass. Like we weren't going to buy it.
Yeah, it was at the time it was the only thing really to play and whatnot. So, and everyone was talking about it, so it was just like, all right, should we give it a try? You gave it a try. You enjoyed certain things about it, and I thought, all right, I gave it a try. I bounced. I bounced really fast.
and there it is. There's one of the key sort of, I don't know, like success metrics of Game Pass, as opposed to just necessarily thinking about sales versus not sales. It's like, hey, we played the game, because eventually it's not going to be in game. I don't know if it's already come out of Game Pass or if it's still there.
Yeah.
But either way, eventually it's not going to be in Game Pass. And if either one of us had played it on a whim and found we really, really liked it, when it leaves Game Pass, we'd have to buy it to keep playing it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So there's a lot more to the discussion, I think, of Game Pass than just sales versus lost sales.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get away from the testes and move on to... Let's go to the two Nintendo stories. Dealer's choice, how you want to start it.
I'll just do it in the order I've done it. Also, like, I don't have the giggles anymore. Nice try, though.
What?
When you said the testes. I was saying, like, I don't have the giggles anymore, but it was a nice try to try and get him.
What? Me?
Nintendo...
Trying a little joke to bury it and keep whacking it into the ground until the bit goes again.
Nintendo responds to falling profits with a 10% raise for Japanese staff. This is from Ollie Welsh over at Polygon, who writes, as tech companies respond to a tough economic environment by laying off huge numbers of staff, including Microsoft with a significant impact on its gaming division, Nintendo is heading the other way. Despite lowering its profit and sales forecast in its most recent round of financial results, Nintendo is promising a 10% salary increase to all of its staff in Japan. According to Reuters, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa told an earnings call on Tuesday, quote, "It's important for our long-term growth to secure our workforce," end quote.
It's one of those stories that is it's great to hear this type of thing at the end of the day, part of how many the staff that are underpaid and everything like that. Yes, is it only in Japan and everything? Yeah, so it kind of sucks to like think of like Nintendo of America and whatnot. Maybe we'll hear something about that further down. Hopefully, cross fingers. It'll be nice to hear that as well. But yeah, it's always great to hear that the staff are going to get more paid better with the inflation and costs and everything right now around the world. That's going to help the staff. It's going to help the people who are going to create, hopefully, come in with more rejuvenated energy to go, let's get these fucking games done, people, type of thing, and fix Pokemon. Even though you're a different company.
Jeff Grubb told me that there's going to be no big Nintendo games after Zelda. Sorry. I don't know Jeff Grubb, and I don't really but he annoys me.
It's not his fault.
I know it's not his fault.
It's the idiot internet going, Jeff Grubb said it, it's facts, let's do it. He even says, I'm not facts. I am not factual here, people.
Sorry.
I hear things, I tell you.
The internet tells me it's definitely happening, and then I'm looking at them going, no, it's not.
10 years later.
Remember the Switch
Still
Pro?
Still happening, guys.
Remember the Switch Pro? Anyway, I totally derailed that. Yeah, no, it's good. Like, I mean, should I do a capitalism something capitalism bad part here, where it's just like, hey, Microsoft is a $2 trillion company. They laid off 10,000 people so that they can make it look like they're still earning, like their earnings are still going up. Nintendo said, nah, fuck that. Because profit is profit. We're still going to make a profit. Like, they lowered their profit forecasts. They didn't say they weren't going to make a profit. So they just went, yeah, we're still going to make a profit. So we're still going to give our people a pay rise. That's how I wish it worked. Everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. How you coming across? I was thinking, is she somehow finding a negative here? I can understand it because of the next part. What we're going to get to.
No, I'm finding the positive in it and saying this is how I wish it fucking worked. It hey, are you going to make money? Yeah, then maybe you should give some of that money to the people who made you the money. But that unfortunately, something capitalism sucks. But yeah, no, good on Nintendo. Fuck yeah. Keep giving your people pay rise. Yeah. Fuck you, Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to say
time to go to that, yeah.
Speaking of something capitalism, bad. Saudi Arabia has reportedly increased its Nintendo stake for a second time in a month. This is from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer. He writes, Okay, that's a funny typo, and it came straight from the article. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund has increased its ownership of Nintendo for the second time in a month, according to a new report. The financial scheme founded by the country's highly controversial ruling Prince Mohammed bin Salman now owns 7.08% of Nintendo, up from 6.07% in January. The PIF was previously known to have acquired 5.01% stake in the company as of May 2021. The quick addition of more highlights the fund's growing stake in Nintendo and many other video game companies gathering pace. Last year, Nintendo told news agency Reuters it had learned of the PIF's initial stake from news reports and declined to comment further. The company has made no further statement since on the PIF's continued investment. Saudi Arabia's PIF has invested heavily in video game companies worldwide and owns similar stakes in Capcom, Nexon, Koei Tecmo, EA, Activision Blizzard, and Take-Two. It also owns a majority of SNK. The PIF is designed to act as a long-term investment fund for the Saudi stake and as a respectable front for the country, despite Prince Mohammed bin Salman's own reputation. The Crown Prince has been blamed by the CIA for the assassination of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, while his rule of Saudi Arabia has kept up with the country's notoriously poor human rights record, with homosexuality still criminalized and punishments ranging from floggings to the death penalty. I fucking hate capitalism, man. Fuck this whole goddamn system, man. And it's fucking shit. I just want to play cool Kirby games. I don't want to have to think about fucking Saudi Arabia while I'm buying Nintendo products.
Yeah, but it's like the thing what I think you said last time when we talked about them buying into the video game industry or another company, that they're just like they're picking the things that are the most populous to make them sound not so bad.
Yeah, right. It's like the Newcastle United takeover, right? It's just like when Newcastle United win the cup, whenever the fuck it is, and everybody's gonna be like, yeah, and it's like, and it was made possible by our Saudi Arabian investment, and it's just like, and everyone's gonna love them. And it's like, no, guys, they still suck. All that money that you're spending on the merch for, like, we won the cup. I don't know what kind of football merch there is. Like, that's all going to go back to a country that would kill me if I stepped off a plane in it.
Mm-hmm. They kill me.
They kill both of us.
The
Words About Games podcast would be wiped out if we went to Saudi Arabia.
We could walk out holding hands saying, fuck you, Saudi Arabia. We literally, before our words got out, we would have been shot. We would have been sniped from a long distance.
Yeah, right.
There's probably turrets on the airport, and they're aiming at the plane, ready to see.
With gaydar attached. Bing, bing, we got him. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah.
Red alert, red alert.
Yeah, right. We weren't even going to land. We were just flying over.
We weren't meant to land, you motherfuckers. I can't get off this plane.
Sucks, man. Like, there's nothing you can even really do about it, right? Like, the problem is, like, the people who have the most money can just do whatever the fuck they want with it, and it doesn't matter, like, about the rest of us. It's like, I want you to stop buying fucking things that I like. I hate it.
The thing is about it, we're going to get to, sadly, a level of it where it's going to be probably the same conversation what we had last week.
Probably.
About Saudi Arabia.
Probably. They're going to take over. They're going to, imagine if, they just take over Nintendo.
They're trying to take over F1, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, they're pushing back and telling them to fuck off, basically, but they're going to hit a number where they're going to say, all right, no, I'm interested, type of thing, and you're just going to say, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
We're already racing there, for God's sakes, which I won't be watching. But Jesus, yeah.
It's one of the things I've always, really disliked about, being an F1 fan, even though I didn't really... I've kind of fallen off of it last year. It's like they're racing the worst fucking places in the world. And I get what
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and it's like I get what Lewis Hamilton says about we go there and then we've got the helmets and we do the things and we say all the stuff to try and make people think about it and stuff, and that's really great. But they're also cracking down on that now.
yeah. I think he's told them to fuck off. He's gonna keep doing it.
Good.
But
But what happens when he retires?
Hopefully, Lando Norris and George Russell and the rest will pick up. Well, apart from we know this. Max ain't gonna do it. Max is in his own fucking golden world and everything and whatnot.
But I mean, you might think, why the fuck are you talking about F1? But it's a similar sort of thing, right? It's just what happens if they take over Nintendo and we have this sort of situation where it's you could buy the Mario game, but it's gonna fund human rights violations in Saudi Arabia,
sexual punishments, flogging, death penalties, the whole freaking shebang.
Yeah,
and it is the whole thing. And sadly, people, we've seen it. We've seen it already. How high people are when it comes to type of any allyship and whatsoever. It means nothing when it comes to I want to play my video game. I must Skyrim or Hogwarts.
Skyrim or Hogwarts. Fuck Skyrim or Hogwarts. Go play Coven. Go play the Coven demo. Munch on some testicles instead.
Hot dogs around. Hot dogs for everybody. Next story. Let's try and liven it up with some Atomic Heart Composer.
Some Atomic Heart composer. Atomic Heart composer Mick Gordon donates fee to Ukraine aid. This is from Leah J. Williams over at Games Hub, who writes, Atomic Heart soundtrack composer Mick Gordon has announced he will donate his earnings for the game to the Red Cross as part of its Ukraine crisis appeal. In a statement, Gordon said he had been engaged by game developer Monfish to work on the musical vision of Atomic Heart in early 2020, with his decision to work with the team being motivated by a love for Soviet-era synthesizers and exciting creative opportunities. Quote, I am proud to donate my fee from the game to the Australian Red Cross's Ukraine crisis appeal in support of the people of Ukraine who are heroically defending their country against aggression. I believe it is important to support pro-peace organizations, stand up for what is right, and to help those in need, especially during the times of crisis. This donation is a way for me to provide practical support to those whose lives have been impacted by war, end quote. And you know what, Moody? We're just going to pause the story right there and talk about the first two paragraphs for a minute.
Yeah. This is it's great to see this type of thing, obviously, because if I believe the developer of this game is a Russian developer, I believe.
It's going to come
up. Yeah. Which is obviously a very not so good thing at this moment in time, which obviously we'll crack on with shortly in the other paragraphs. But to see like at the end of the day, how this guy took this job in 2020. Yeah, no fuck out of here. Any idea that Russia were going to decide to do what they were going to do last year? He's already done the job and he deserves to get paid for the job still. And it sounds like he's going to get paid for the job and he's going to give the money in a nice way. He's donating it to the Red Cross to hopefully help Ukraine, hopefully help that will help the Ukrainian crisis. And they're appealed for obviously more and more help and whatnot, and that's what we want to see. This is the great things what we want to see. This is what we were hoping to see last week, which we did not see. We saw high whiny bitchiness last week, but this week we're seeing just a person just doing the right thing, and that's what you want to see and everything like that. He
has the ability to do this, so he's done it, and that's cool. I've always liked Mick Gordon. Whenever I've seen him talk, he was on an Oakley documentary because he did the soundtrack to Doom. And his music's great, so I like it.
Yeah. He did the soundtrack to Doom.
Yes.
So is he the one we saw last year? Yeah. Or this week?
It was
not last week. This year. Yeah, where the Doom creators haven't paid him.
Yeah.
Or didn't.
That was that whole.
The whole thing. Yeah. But it's good to still say, even though he didn't get paid from those idiots, he's still going to get paid, and he's going to use it in a great way. That's that's just great to hear that type of thing. He fucking felt he had shit from one developer. He's gone to do another score for another developer that he didn't realize what the future was going to be, and he's going to use his money
What I wish
hopefully help people.
What I wish for Mick Gordon in his next project is just an uncontroversial nice time.
Yeah, it's not his fault what's happening for this, and just hopefully the next project, which I'm surmising you've probably already onto, and everything, will be non-controversial, and you'll be straight onto it and doing a great job and everything. So go Mick Gordon.
Go Mick Gordon. Do we keep going?
Keep going, yeah, keep going.
In addition, AIN Capital alleged Mundfish was a Russian-backed company operating out of Moscow, despite the studio claiming it was based in Cyprus. In response to these claims, Mundfish labeled the privacy statement... I think there's a missing paragraph there. There is, because I scrolled too far down. Pretend I didn't read that part. In early January 2023... the developer had to fight back against claims it was harvesting data for Russian authorities, as a report from AIN Capital surfaced a peculiar clause in the game's privacy policy. Quote, the privacy policy published on the studio's website directly refers to the collection of user data and the possible transfer of this data to Russian state authorities, in particular the tax office and FSB. The authors of this policy, citing the legislation under which the data is collected, also mentions Russian mobilization laws, under which soldiers are currently being recruited in Russia to continue the criminal war against Ukraine, end quote. In addition, AIN Capital alleged Mundfish was a Russian-backed company operating out of Moscow, despite the studio claiming it was based in Cyprus. In response to these claims, Mundfish labeled the privacy statement, quote, outdated and wrong, end quote, but did not deny the other allegations. The studio later said on Twitter, quote, we have noted the questions surrounding where we at Mundfish stand. We want to assure you that Mundfish is a developer and studio with a global team focused on an innovative game and is undeniably a pro-peace organization against violence against people, end quote. Oh no. And then they continue to say, quote, we do not comment on politics or religion. Rest assured we are a global team focused on getting Atomic Heart into the hands of gamers everywhere. We do not and will not condone contributors or spammers with offensive, hateful, discriminatory, violent, or threatening language or content, end quote. While the allegations of AIN Capital have yet to be definitively addressed, many questions remain about Mundfish and its alleged ties to Russia, local investors, and the government.
Yeah, this is the thing about it. What wasn't it that happened last year when the whole thing of Russia invading Ukraine happened, like with the sports people and whatnot? And it seems like it's still happening right now to this type of thing. Are they backed by Russia or backed by a Russian oligarch or something like that, or some crazy stuff?
Yeah, and then this weird privacy clause, which is just
them
weird.
Them hiding it and not coming out saying no, we are not. Basically for me says, yes, we are, but we just don't want to talk about it right now, type of thing.
Oh, we got caught.
oh shit, type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes to that now. It just goes to I saw idiots online saying the same thing of oh, what are you gonna say about what all the people who were when we were trying to say, yo, but last week,
don't buy Hogwarts Legacy, and then they've gone, well, what about Atomic Heart? And it's it's a different game. Yeah. It's a different game.
Yeah, it's a completely fucking different game at the same time. Do what you think is right. Honestly, that's the thing. It's like, for me, it's a game I was never going to be playing anyway. I had no interest in the game whatsoever.
I don't know what it is. This has been my point about Atomic Heart for a few years now, where it's the trailers look interesting, sure, but I don't know what this game actually is. But that's beside the point for this.
Yeah.
I wanted to, because I knew you wanted to talk about. Well, we both wanted to talk about the Mick Gordon part of the story. But I wanted to
this other part was important as well.
I wanted to keep this part in because there's been a lot of stuff swirling around about Atomic Heart and Mundfish for the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks now, on games industry Twitter. But there's little sort of concrete right now. Basically, I'm just waiting for someone to just do the thing with the article, essentially. So it's I don't want to pull out all of these rumors and speculations and put it in a podcast. That's why we haven't talked about Mundfish on the podcast for the last few weeks, even though stuff like this is going on. But I felt like it was important to keep this part in, and just know that maybe at some point in the near future we might be having another discussion about Atomic Heart. But yeah, this is something to also just be aware of. Like, they were asked directly, hey, like, what's the crack with this privacy policy? And then they were like, oh yeah, it's outdated, but it was still on your website. They were asked specifically about their ties to Russia, and they dodged the question. And then even in their statement further on Twitter, at no point, like, they said a lot of things, like, you know, they're undeniably a pro-peace organization against violence against people, but at no point did they actually condemn Russia in any way, shape, or form in that statement.
And that tells you everything. For me, it does tell you everything. So it's like, so if anyone comes up to me and say, oh, what about the thing about this developer in Atomic Heart? I'll be literally saying, don't buy the game then.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. If you're a person, quote unquote, a person who feels like a game is not as important as a person's life, or heck, a people's life, who's completely getting turned upside down right now at this moment in time in Ukraine, then don't buy this game whatsoever. And that's just how it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, like I said last week, and I'll say till the end of my days. There's nothing more important than a person's life. The person's life is not as important than a video game. I always said the wrong way around there.
Video games are more important than people's lives.
Yeah, that's what I almost said, I realized.
Yeah. Someone is going to clip that and take it out of context now. And
hell yeah, they're going to take it out of context, and I'm going to be saying, and I'll never see it.
And you'll never see it. Yeah. You will, because
I'll see it, and then you send it to me.
Because I'll send it to you with the laughing emoji faces.
Moody, they did it.
Moody, they did it. They did the thing.
Moody, we're famous.
We're trending.
We're trending.
Yeah,
that's
obviously. Yeah, obviously, people are more important than video games.
It's a shame people didn't think of that last week.
Because it is, it's always like, sometimes it's more important to see what a person doesn't say, or like an organization doesn't say. Like in this case, there was a lot they didn't say that they could have said, and they said some other stuff instead. It's one of those things where it's like, you can look at the statement and if you just like take it at face value, you can go, actually, that does sound pretty good. But then you think about what the statement was in response to, and you go, actually, they didn't say some stuff. They didn't say a lot of things here.
Which is a shame for people who are excited for this game. Even though I don't know much about this game whatsoever, people are excited about it, I'm sure. But yeah,
hey, I'm sure even less people know about this than knew about J.K. Rowling. So
yeah, that is true.
Again, there's not really been, because it's all been sort of like the original report, I'm pretty sure it came from a different country. Like, it wasn't an English language report, and because people have like talked about stuff on Twitter, but no one's really like, there's not been like the Jason article, you know what I mean? Where it's like, there's been this huge thing where it's been like, hey, this is what the crack is with Mudfish or Atomic Heart. It's harder to go, hey, these are the issues, right? Like, no one's pulled it all together yet.
Yeah, Jason, where are you?
Yeah, come on, Jason.
Leaving it all to Jeff. Are you leaving it all to Jeff Gubb?
Jeff's gonna steal his spotlight here.
Support Ukraine, everybody.
Yes,
support Ukraine.
Absolutely.
Let's go Metroid.
Let's go Metroid. The game comes out physically in a few weeks. If Boomerang don't send it to me, I'm going to be very angry.
Its review score is incredible.
It's Metroid Prime, man.
I've never played it. I can't comment on that.
It's incredible game. I remember playing it on. It was the only Metroid Prime I played on GameCube, because I know they had the three. Like, they have the trilogy. It was the only one I actually played. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway. Metroid game developers call out Switch Remaster's failure to credit. This is from Stephen Totillo over at Axios, who writes, developers who worked on the acclaimed 2002 Nintendo GameCube game Metroid Prime are publicly voicing frustration that a recently released Switch remake called Metroid Prime Remastered fails to name the game's original creators in its credits. Zaid Kirsch, a senior engineer on the original who did not work on the remake, tweeted last Saturday that he was, quote, let down, end quote, by the lack of full original credits in the new Switch version. The original's technical lead engineer, Jack Matthews, publicly called it, quote, a travesty, end quote. He added to Axios, quote, when my son plays Metroid Prime on the Switch for the first time, the fact that he won't see my and my colleagues' names in the credits as the original creators is a punch in the gut, end quote. The game's original creators are acknowledged in 15 words, at the end of the Switch version's credits, quote, based on the work of Metroid Prime, original Nintendo GameCube and Wii versions, development staff, end quote. Guidelines from the International Game Developers Association, which can advocate but does not enforce game credits, states that, quote, ports, remasters, remakes, and re-releases must retain the original names that work on the game, end quote. EA's recent Dead Space remake, a more substantive overhaul of the 2008 original of the same name, takes a similar approach as Prime Remastered. The 2023 edition's 20-minute roll of credits ends with a brief thanks to the original team, quote, for inspiring us every step of the way, end quote. One re-release that did credit the game's original creators, Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, a 2021 remaster that lists the game's original 2011 development team by name and first in the credit roll. Talk a lot about credits these days. Yeah. I've just noticed. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, it's come up a few times recently.
Yeah, it does. There's no doubt about it. And it sucks, like, to hear this type of thing, especially to the original creators. Like, at the end of the day,
yeah, they made the game.
It's just like, they made the game for you guys. It sucks that you got the blueprint to know where to go to and everything. So
yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? There would be no Metroid Prime Remastered if there was no Metroid Prime.
yeah. So, like, they should be on the game and whatnot.
Yeah.
This game, it sucks to hear this. Like my proudest moment was just like to see my name in the game. The game that's coming out soon with me in it, and I was just like, "Fucking hell, that's it! That's extraordinary just to see that." And I'm excited to, like, for people to play the game and everything.
I'm not just going to play that game. I'm going to stream it, and when your name comes up on the credits, I'm going to lose my shit. We're like, there he is! There he is!
There he is!
It's Moody!
Yeah, and then I'll hop on and show you how to play it fast, people. Credits are important. People who work on a game, even if it's just for a fucking week, deserve to get credited for the work.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched a video essay about this issue at the beginning of the year or the end of last year. It was one of the two. Where, like, this has been an issue in the games industry for decades, and, like, we just need to fucking sort it the fuck out. Like, did they work on the original? Are you remastering or remaking the original? Cool, then they should be in the credits. Like, the Dead Space thing, like, the Metroid Prime remastered situation is shit, and I'm not going to say it's not. But at the end, where it said, hey, it's based on the work of these people. Like, the Dead Space one actively pisses me off. Where it's just like, oh, the original team, thanks to the original team for inspiring us every step of the way. What do you mean inspired you every step of the way? They made the game that you fucking remade. That's not inspiration. They made the damn thing. But credits, if you worked on a game, you get put in the credits. If you worked on the original game, you get put in the credits of the remake.
Yeah. Even if they didn't work on the remake or whatsoever, the blueprint is there for the people who are doing the remake or remaster whatsoever is there. So even if it's like what they're saying is like putting in like saying a thank you and everything like that, and then you put in their names right after all that. Thank you, say thank you for all the inspiration.
Thanks.
And they did all that name and everything. Yeah, it ain't rocket science, and it's a pain in the backside. Like, I did not realize about the Dead Space one.
Neither did I, to be honest.
Now, which is really annoying. Especially like both of us praised the game a couple of weeks ago.
Sure.
And it doesn't
affect
our opinions
of
the game and everything like that. But it's just like, it sucks to hear that type of thing, and that's what we don't want to hear. So get your shit sorted. Yeah, Dead Space, Motive, get your shit sorted, and all the other developers. Excuse me, who are not putting credit
your games properly.
Yeah.
Damn you. I'm shaking my fist down. Credit your games properly.
How long we got?
ages.
Ages, video. We can finish early and so we can get the game in.
Hey, you're driving.
That's true.
I'm just the GPS. Does that work? Does that metaphor work?
Kinda.
Okay. Turn left. The next round.
Go to Tetris movie. I saw this and I was just like,
I haven't seen
"Oh,
this.
come on, seriously, you didn't see the trailer?"
No, I just got back.
You could have watched it while you were eating on your big
Well, I'll
sticky.
tell you what. You fucking chatter about it now, and I'll fucking watch the damn thing now. Okay.
Trailer's really good. I didn't even know this movie was coming out at all. I completely forgot. For a person who used to do a movie podcast, I completely forgot a Tetris movie was coming. And it's literally about the origin of the game getting created and getting it out there for everybody. And it just looks so much fun. It looks really funny. I didn't realize like
okay,
a lot of
that's better than I was expecting. I thought it was literally a Tetris movie. I was like, oh no, the joke has come to life.
No, it's literally an origin and everything, and about the man who worked his ass off to like market it and get it on the consoles and whatnot and everything. And like he sees the Game Boy for the first time and whatnot. He's like, "You want to put Tetris on it?" This is like. Yeah, it's amazing. It's such a... And Taron Egerton...
The final countdown.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like... Taron Egerton is one great actor out there, and I think like he's really reveling in this performance and I think it's so much more funny is that he has a really strong Welsh accent. You can't hear it in this movie, and it's amazing. I'm just like, that's fantastic. I love the trailer. I think it's really funny. There's a lot of like nuances to it, and it just made me laugh. And when you saw things like near the end and then get the parts of like what happens turns into the Tetris bricks, is just really funny to me. And I just really laughed about it. I really enjoyed it. I thought, why the hell not? This is great. This came out of nowhere and it was really funny to me. I can't keep talking.
It's still going.
Well, I can't believe you didn't watch it.
You sent me it like an hour ago, like an hour before the podcast, and I didn't. You know, I didn't get back to my computer until...
Did you watch the other one that you put on the notes? I didn't put this one on. The other one on the notes.
One I put on, yes. Oh, so hang on. I'm getting shit for not watching the one that you sent me.
I watched the Mario one.
I was going to say, yes, I watched the Mario one. I watched it. But I want to talk about the Tetris one. When you sent it me and I saw what it was, and I put the note in the show notes, I thought, oh my fucking God, really?
Yeah.
Now you've explained what it is.
If it was that type of thing, I would never have sent it to you.
Yeah, now you've explained what it is. I'm like, oh, actually, that's pretty cool. That sounds like a good concept.
Yeah,
I'll watch that.
Yeah,
on Apple TV.
It looks really canny. Yeah, yeah, they're doing a lot of things, Apple.
They are, and they're doing a lot of good things.
Yeah, at least for shows, anyway. Yeah, it was funny. I liked it. There's like some serious parts, obviously, but they kept that. Fun to it at the same time, and I just thought, yeah, this is kind of funny.
Oh, I'll watch it. I'm always interested in movies like that. So,
let's skip the trailers. Super Mario, Superbowl, I guess. I
love this fucking trailer. I love this fucking trailer, Moody. Like, I watched the trailer, the one with Chris Pratt and Jack Black and everybody, and we talked about it. You talked about it on the podcast last year when it came out, and I was like. I mean, the movie looks fun, but I was like, the needle of which, like, probability of Amy watching this when it comes out didn't move from that trailer.
That's fair.
And then the Superbowl trailer happened, and I watched it, and it's the advert for the Super Mario Brothers plumbing it, and the needle went, yeah, all right.
It moved. It moved your needle.
It moved. I was like, this is awesome.
And an advert that probably won't be in the movie.
Definitely not.
Moved your needle.
Definitely not. But that was great. I loved it.
That's funny.
It's such a good trailer. Though.
It is.
I watched it like really 10 times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, but which one are you going to see first, though? This one or the HBO version, Amy?
I love that trailer as well.
That's the ultimate question. Do we need more pesto pastel?
I would definitely watch the HBO version first.
It's a me, Mario.
It's an time. I love the bit like it just extends me where he loads the fucking red shell into a shotgun. I was just like, that's incredible.
And it's just like, I am also bisexual.
Oh, yeah. With deep, complex characters. I'm Yoshi. I'm bisexual. I'm a toad. I'm also bisexual. Banger week for Mario trailers.
It really was. Yeah.
I love the fact that it was specifically a Mario Kart like spoof trailer as well.
Yeah, that's really funny. No doubt about it. But no, yeah, good week for game trailers, game potential movies.
Yeah, if you haven't seen go watch the SNL Mario Kart, HBO's Mario Kart trailer because it's fucking amazing. It's a piece of art. And go watch the Super Mario Bros. Superbowl trailer if you haven't. It's 30 seconds long. And like I said, it changed it moved the needle. It made me more likely to go watch
on a
movie
Amy had no interest in.
Yeah, I wasn't. I would have probably waited for it to come to whatever streaming platform it was going to come to, and maybe checked it out one day. But like now, I'm like, I might go and see this. Wow. If that's the level, if that's the type thing is, if that's the type of humor they're going to have in this Mario movie, you know what my humor is like. I'm imagining you saw that trailer, and like if you thought about me, and it went, oh, that's Amy's exact sense of humor. That's exactly what I would find funny.
Oh no, she's going to be so disappointment at the end.
Undoubtedly going to be disappointed. But I'll always have that 30-second Super Bowl trailer.
It's true. Okay. Final story: Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh yeah. Damn. We smashed through the stories today. Horizon Forbidden West arrives on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium on February 21st. Yeah, that's the story. Like, so they announced the PS Plus games, the new PS Plus Premium and Extra games that were coming out, and it's a beefy list. Like PS Plus subscribers are getting The Quarry, they're getting Resident Evil 7, Outriders, which is weird because we were just talking about it, Borderlands 3, Scarlet Nexus, Tekken 7, Ace Combat 7, Earth Defense 5, Oninaki, Lost Sphere, I Am Setsuna, and The Forgotten City. There's also a couple of older games coming to their premium service, which is Legend of Dragoon is one of them, which is an amazing old PS1 JRPG. But like the headliner is Horizon Forbidden West, right? Like it's coming to their subscription service a year after it launched, and I just thought that was interesting.
Seems like that's what they're going for, so I'm guessing God of War Ragnarok's going to be end of the year.
I guess we'll find out if it's like this is their vision for PS Plus.
Yeah.
In November, was it November when God of War came out last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
November.
So we'll probably find out in November, right? But I mean, it's a beefy list. It's a great list of games.
Yeah. Still missing Dino Crisis, though, aren't we?
I mean, PlayStation Plus Premium is not that good, but like PS Plus Extra is actually really good list of games like that are available on it. Yeah. Yeah, Horizon Forbidden West, like 1 year after it launched, is coming to PS Plus Extra. That's cool. Like,
where's Dino Crisis PlayStation?
Where is Dino Crisis? No, I'm going to join in.
You literally had it on. They literally had it on the Japan logo for them. I'm
going to join in here because you know what? PS Plus Premium sucks. You took away the fucking, you had all these PS1 classics and PS2 classics on the fucking Vita and the PS3. You could buy them and play them on Vita. I used to play loads of PlayStation 1 games on my Vita. And then you didn't add that store to PS4, and you didn't add it to PS5, and then you were like, but don't worry, we're going to make a subscription service where you can get all the PlayStation 1 games. And it's like, you've got, come on, man. You've got barely anything on there.
Yeah. Give me my Dino Crisis.
I've
already put it in the ground. I buried it. I'm not going to remake. I can appreciate that.
Damn.
I won't cry. But just at least give me Dino Crisis 1. And
2.
And 2, yeah. 2's good as well. I like 2.
But like, no,
it's like such on a cliffhanger, and I was just like, oh, what's going to happen? And then Xbox got exclusivities for it, and that's what happened. Nothing
worth talking about happened. Yeah. But no, it's just like, look, man, you had this whole fucking library going on one of your older platforms, and if you're gonna fuck about with your stupid premium tier, that's not worth having. unless you want game trials for like games like months after they come out. Like, allow me to buy the fucking games again. I fucking hate it, man. The first time I played Castlevania Symphony of the Night, one of the best PlayStation 1 games ever, it was because I bought it on a whim on my Vita. You're leaving money on the table.
Didn't they re-release that?
Yeah,
on PS4?
Yeah. It's bundled with another game.
Yeah, the other games, isn't it?
Konami did this. Konami's fucking re-release of Castlevania games is so fucking random, man. Like, you can't just buy individual Castlevania games. I think there's like 3 different bundles of different Castlevania games all bundled together, and it's like, I just want Aria of Sorrow. I don't want to buy all of these other games. Can I just have the one game? And the answer is no, you can't. And also, the one that Aria of Sorrow in is more expensive than the other 2. So you're going to have to pay more if you want that one game. And I'm just like, forget the whole thing. It's fine. You know what?
You lost, Konami. You lost.
Yeah. You lost.
You could have had Amy's money. But you didn't.
But you didn't. It's been a while since I've said this. But fuck Konami. Anyway. There's a lot of games coming out next week, Moody.
There is indeed.
There's 2 games in particular coming out next week that I'm excited about. But also,
it's going to be interesting.
But also angry that they're both coming out within 3 days of each other.
yeah, that's fair. So which one are you tackling first then?
So the 2 games are Like a Dragon, Ishin. Respect to Keith. Which is coming out on February 21st, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And the other one is Octopath Traveler 2, coming out February 24th, PS5, Switch, and PC. Octopath.
You're going Octopath?
Yeah.
I'm going Like a Dragon.
I am right in the mood for a JRPG right now.
Isn't Like a Dragon kind of like that?
Yeah. No, I mean like an
old school,
an Octopath style JRPG, I guess.
Okay, I get you. I understand now.
Yeah, that's what annoys me about Ishin coming out 3 days. Because I think we talked about this last week or the week before off the podcast, where I was like, it fucking pissed me off because I want to play both of these games. They're both going to be big. I'm not going to be able to quickly knock Ishin out before Octopath comes out. Well, I might be able to, but I'm not going to.
yeah, true.
But yeah, for me, it's Octopath Traveler 2. Like, I played a bit of the first one when it came out, but I never... It's not that I didn't like it, it's just that there was a lot going on at the time, and I just didn't get back to it, and then eventually I just had to, like, move on to other stuff. And, like, I really enjoyed it, and it's on my list of games to play, like, backlog games. So, like, Octopath Traveler 2 is just like, I'm in. Like, as soon as they announced it, I was like, fucking give me it. Fucking give me it. I've got time, and I've got the will to play this game. Right now. I know it's a week before it comes out, but right now, Moody, I want it now.
Right now.
Actually, there's a demo. I can start playing it now.
Yes, you can. It'll probably save as well.
And it carries over, yeah. It's like every other JRPG that comes out on Switch. I do it with all of them. Yeah, I did it with Live Triangle Strategy last year. That was a meaty demo. Good. I think it took like 4 or 5 hours as well.
That is very good.
Super good, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good batch of different games. Like, one of them's going to come in, puts me back in the league in Fantasy Critics. It's going to be the thing that always happens for me in Fantasy Critic. So it's like, yeah.
What happened to I'm going to be in the lead and stay in the lead? That didn't last long.
Well, I thought Elf needed a bit of a pick-me-up. She like decided just to be strong and then be weak at the end of her picks. So it's just like she decided just to tank a whole season. So I thought, I want to elevate people up. And that's what I just do, Amy. I elevate people up. And then I drop them like a sack of shit.
You're such a dick, you know.
Well, yes, I am.
Why, yes, I do. I've got some fantastic news, though. We'll get to it when we do OpenCritic head-to-head, because it's tied into OpenCritic head-to-head.
Cool.
So you're going to play a Like a Dragon Ishin, as Keith would say, because it's got an exclamation mark on the end of it. That's why.
Okay.
Cool. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on that, and we'll have to do like a bumper episode where we do like both big games side by side.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting. Like, okay, so I have to look at my calendar here. So when does it come out?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. It won't be
now. I'll see what I can get into it into those days and whatnot, because I'm away that weekend.
So maybe we don't have to be like, oh, we've got to get the content out there right now.
Oh, I won't be doing any of that whatsoever. Sorry, I'm saying that right now.
Yeah, no, it's never been like that. Since you joined the team and we both like talk about the video games that we play, I've always been very careful to be like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I haven't played anything. That's fine. Neither have I.
Yeah, like what is it? Like, I've got to get to, or not get to, I want to eventually I want to play Season.
Space for the Unbound as well.
Yeah, I want to give those two games a go. Right now, the backlog? It isn't too big right now. It's only 2 games. I know. Small games as well.
Well, A Space for the Unbound is actually quite a big game, as I found.
Something like 8 hours long, isn't it?
It's
10 hours long?
10 hours long.
Fine. I don't mind that.
I mean, it's not Octopath Traveler 2. Let me just fucking tell you that right now. But yeah, no. Like, I want to play Like a Dragon. Like, if there's like a gap of like a few weeks, I might like look into just like slotting it in there.
Well, thankfully, they've gone from the list that obviously I'm going off the calendar. Everything right now.
Isn't that like an entire month where there's just like nothing coming out?
That's basically March.
Yeah.
Yeah, March is like a sleep in move. March is.
I'm sure there was like
Wulong.
So there's stuff coming out in
Fallen
March.
Dynasty.
No,
you got like Resi 4 at the back end of the month.
July.
Along with Have a Nice Death.
That's what I was thinking of, July. Currently.
March is still not that busy either.
For you, maybe. Fucking Resident Evil 4 is coming out in March, Moody.
Yeah, at the end of the month, though. Are you interested in playing Wulong The Fallen Dynasty?
I don't know. I need to see more of this game.
So it's by the guys who didn't touch that.
It's by the guys who made Neo. By the people who made Neo.
Yeah.
I love Neo.
Yeah, that's true. But if that's a game you don't get straight into straight away, that means you've got 1, 2, 3 weeks before Resi. Quote unquote.
Resi's not going to take long because I'm going to stream.
And Resi's not going to take long. Let's just be frank here. That's like a 2-day thing.
I'm going to stream it in a couple of days.
Yeah.
They put the
I might play it with you. I'll put you on that screen and I'll just be like this. Then I'll pause it. Oh my god, this was so awesome! And then he's like, "No, it wasn't. Really, shut up."
There was no tall vampire lady. 1 out of 10 when Resident Evil came out.
1 out of 10.
It's time for OpenCritic head-to-head. This is the game.
It's time.
We play every single week where we try to guess the OpenCritic averages of upcoming games. It's changed. Whoever guesses the OpenCritic score correctly at the time of recording gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, just updating it, you get 2 points. Last week we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Wild Hearts, the Monster Hunter-esque game that's not by the people who made Monster Hunter. I think it's also by the people who made Neo. Last, I guessed it would get an 80. Moody guessed it would get an 88. At the time of recording, which I've just checked, Wild Hearts has an OpenCritic average of 80. I did it.
It does.
I got 2 points. It's been moving all over the place today.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, it's an 80. To be honest,
apparently it's a. Go on.
No, you first.
Apparently it's a really good game, but it's like got a lot of performance issues.
Yeah,
which is a shame to hear.
I saw the developer had mentioned something about apologizing for the stuttering issues. I actually downloaded, because there's a 10-hour trial with EA Play. I actually downloaded that on Xbox because I was thinking I might actually have a look at this. But then I'm like, if I get it, I'm going to get it on PlayStation because I'm going to rent it and then I'm going to have to start again. But I don't know. It's a whole thing. Maybe I'll just subscribe to PS Plus just so I can have fucking 10 hours on Wild Hearts, EA Play on PlayStation for a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was interested in looking into it. But I don't know. Octopath comes out. It's like, am I really going to sink that much time into it? who knows? But what this does mean, really, is Russ, today, when this podcast comes out, isn't going to be in last place in Fantasy Critic anymore. Woo! He's actually going to be above people. Because he's got this team he's got this game in his team. I was just looking up Fantasy Critic to see if anything had updated, and I noticed that he's got this game. So, congratulations to us for finally not being in 6th place, even though some people haven't had games come out yet. So that puts the scores of OpenCritic head-to-head at Amy 3, Moody 2. No guests have scored points. To be fair, we've only had Scott on. And I didn't want to invite anyone last week. And I'm going to be honest, because of how last week went, I didn't really want to invite anyone this week. It's kind of like it's just like the decompression zone.
Yeah, I know I can appreciate that. Completely appreciate that.
So I'll start like trying to get people on next week. I did. Yeah. I messaged Vit and I didn't really invite him on last week's podcast so much as we just joked about it, like where I said like I don't want to put anyone through that, and he went except Moody, and I went except Moody. Moody has to.
That's understandable.
Yeah. To be fair, you gave what for last week. It was good. I did something I'd never do with a podcast, or rarely do with a podcast, which is like I rewatched that bit.
Yeah.
Again, and I was like, I was proud of us. Which was nice. This week we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of 2 games, because we skipped a week. We had a double header banked, so I thought we could use it for the 2 games we were just talking about earlier. Like a Dragon Ishin.
I still stand by. Sorry for putting in. I still stand by that. If there's 2 big games like this, I think we should be able to. I think it's like putting in Rust 1. If there's 2 big games like this, I think we should put both of them on again.
We'll see.
Forget about banking.
I'm tired of having this argument, so I'm just gonna nod and go. Yeah, I'll think about it. This week, the first game we're guessing is Like a Dragon Ishin. Yeah, sure, I'll think about it. Really, what do you think Like a Dragon Ishin is going to get on OpenCritic? Bearing in mind it's like a remaster of an old
Don't you want to go first? Don't you said you always want to go first?
Oh, yeah. I'm just used to you going first. I'm so used to you going first that I just go, yeah, you go first. Amy, what do you think Like a Dragon Ishin is going to get? That's a good question, Amy. I know shockingly little about this game. I'm going to go 83. So what do you reckon, Moody?
Like a Dragon is a very popular franchise.
It is.
Last one, obviously, Yakuza, wasn't it?
But the last one...
The different games, I know.
Was Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah. This is obviously Like a Dragon Ishin. I'm going to stay above you. I'm going to go and play it safe, 84.
I'm going to make you go first again if you keep just picking one number above or below me.
I can't help that you picked my number.
Boring.
I was going to go 83.
But we're also going to do Octopath Traveler 2. So what do I think Octopath Traveler 2 is going to get? I don't know, like, these games are getting, like... Octopath Traveler, the first one came out a few years ago when 2D HD like JRPGs would just start coming in, and I feel like these games have been getting more and more popular as like the years have gone on.
Yeah, this is the one everyone's been kind of waiting for when it comes to this type of game, because I know the first Octopath was very much beloved by a lot of people, by the fans and everything. So this is the one. Like I think like what was it? Like we played Bravely Default last year or the year before, wasn't it? Yeah, and like we both enjoyed it, but it was like a game like I think even both of us said like we're kind of waiting for Octopath at the same time.
Yeah,
so it was like a good appetizer and everything.
I liked Bravely Default too, but Yeah, it went on a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
I remember thinking I was nearly finished the game, and then it was like, nah, sucker, there's another chapter. What?
Yeah. Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Octopath Traveler has been one of those games where I think it comes, like, it's become more beloved the further on we've gone, as like more and more people get into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 85 for Octopath Traveler 2.
Okay, so this is not my fault. I was going to originally pick it. My number I was always going to pick was 86.
Okay. That's fine.
So like I wasn't picking 85, I was going 86, so I'm just going to state that.
Fair. To be fair,
people may not believe that, but I don't care.
Hey, if it keeps happening, then we'll have a conversation. But like, not because
I'm sorry, no.
because coincidences only happen over here. No, it's like I was originally just gonna do it never fails, but then I was like,
I was tempted with Octopath Traveler, but
the thing is,
like this one, I think this week it's gonna be very tight.
Yeah.
I think like if it's either going to go, one of us might get double points, but also one of us might get one of us could go score 2 points each here, like 2 points. Yeah, like it could be very interesting how it goes here because I think they're going to be very close.
I think so too.
Watch this, one's in the low 70s,
one's like 60 and one's like 95, and it's like, okay, they weren't close.
They weren't close.
No, it's cool. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, sometimes I think reviews, and this isn't me having a go at reviewers so much as the reviews process, especially for games that are this length. Like, reviews get put up when people play long games and either rush through them and don't appreciate them to hit their deadline, or don't finish them and then make the review because of how busted up the whole review thing is, right? Like, they don't get the codes for the games long enough so they don't actually put the time into the games. That's why I think you see a lot of critical reappraisals of long games. Because then people then actually do like play the games long and either play them to completion or play them like and actually appreciate them and go, actually, you know, this is better than I thought it was. But that's not a problem with reviewers. That's a problem with the industry. Also, just wanted to point out before we finish the podcast meeting, I don't know if you've read all four of those scores in a line, but it literally goes 83, 84, 85, 86.
Royal flush.
I thought that was funny. So I guess that's going to do it for episode 339 of the Words About Games podcast. We certainly said some words, and I'd say like 80% of them were about games.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not at all.
15% of them were about Star Trek. And 5% of them were about testicles. So it's been a good podcast.
I would say, yeah.
I should just clip that last bit out and put it on Twitter.
I would.
And then everyone will be like, what the fuck are they talking about testicles for?
The perfect amount of testes.
0. Do you have any final words for me? I don't want it. No. Do you have
You started that, don't blame me. You started.
I did. I have a long history of making these kinds of jokes.
That is true. That is true indeed. Very long indeed. Everybody, I hope everyone has a great weekend. We're coming up to the weekend and have a great weekend. We're all pushing through, working hard. Just keep being awesome. And that's all I can say about it. Like, you know, we love you. You know who you are. You know who you are. The rest, you definitely know who you are. You definitely know who you are. There's no doubt. Thank you very much. Peace out.
Happy Star Trek Picard Day.
Testes, baby, testes.